The Nerds of a Feather podcast. New episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe on iTunes and Google Play. I'm going to name another somewhat current Christmas movie. This one actually is your fault. Oh. And that's Love Actually. Yeah. It is so good.
Yeah,
it's
so good.
I can't even find the words to articulate it. It's
so good. I can't believe you had not seen it, right?
I had not seen it. Yeah,
that blows my mind, especially because you're such a fan of British actors and actresses. So yeah,
and that was the thing, is that when I don't know, maybe it's just I never had an opportunity to see it. It never presented itself. And then when you and I got together, and you loved this movie.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, I think a couple times. And I remember immediately walking from the theater to the Virgin Records store and buying the soundtrack just immediately. So,
Virgin Records,
the way back playback. This movie, immediately fell in love with it. I knew instantly that this was going to be something I watched over and over again.
This is 100% charm.
Yeah.
I would say just amazing casting top to bottom, amazing quality from top to bottom. It's funny, it's sad, it can be a little gut-wrenching in moments. But then they find ways to add levity, thank our English friends across the pond, who are able to add levity to a very sorrowful scene and make it funny.
Distinctly British quality to be able to do something like that.
Absolutely is.
And again, another movie where Hugh Grant is charming in spite of himself.
Indeed, yeah.
Man, that guy. I don't know that anyone else who's ever hired a hooker has been as charming as Hugh Grant.
I have so many feelings toward Liz Hurley that I cannot be unbiased with my opinion of Hugh. But I put all that aside for this movie. It is a great movie. Like, all kidding aside, this movie is so good. It is now a must watch for me, every season.
I feel like this past week in the news we learned that Prince Harry is engaged to Meghan Markle, an American actress. And I feel a little bit like this is the conclusion of the love story that we first saw in Love Actually, between the charming British boy and the beautiful
real
American.
Life parallel.
Yes, I love it. In my mind, this is what happened to them. He caught her at the airport, and then they became pen pals for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And somehow he became royalty, and here we are. So the first time we watched this movie, there's the now iconic, I would say, scene with Andrew Lincoln doing the flashcards, giving his message of love to Keira Knightley.
Are you going to out me on this story?
1,000% I'm going to out you on the story.
All right. Go ahead.
Hopefully most of our listeners have seen this movie and know exactly what scene I'm talking about. This, again, like a very heart-wrenching scene.
A little spoilery if you haven't.
Yeah, in love with his best friend's girl, realizes as a best friend, he's just got to get it out of his system. You just can't do that to your friend. You can't do that to his wife. So he shows up at their house, and best friend and Keira Knightley, best friend's new wife, are sitting on the couch, and she runs to answer the door, and there stands Andrew Lincoln, and he's there to tell her his final words.
He's going to profess his love finally.
But this all needs to be on the down low. We can't let the best friend know that this is happening. It's a secret between the two of them. So rather than speak this message, he has prepared a slideshow presentation of sorts on flashcards. And it is set to a boombox playing Christmas music. Important to note. Yes, right. So he begins the tape, and it really sounds like just a bunch of people standing at the door singing Christmas carols. Absolutely. And so the first card says, "Tell him it's carol singers." And you say, "Who the fuck is carol singers?" Yeah. A classic moment in our relationship.
I am never going to pretend that I am the most intelligent individual in the room at any given stretch, but that was not one of my more stellar moments.
And I remember looking at you waiting for the punchline, and I realized that is the punchline. Who the fuck is Carol Singers?
There was no punchline. That was absolutely confusion on my part.